whoever that is at the door. Yep, it's your buddy Scott and Pimpin' Wayne. That must mean that the Living in Las Vegas video podcast starts right now.
Eric, baby, go.
I hope he got paid for that product placement.
Mm-hmm. Living in Las Vegas
And that he cuts
starts
us in.
now. He cuts us into everything. He's very, very giving. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada. That groovy little podcast that gives you a true first-person look into what it's like to call Sin City your home. The Living in Las Vegas
Here we go!
podcast.
Incoming!
And now your host,
Yes?
a man who clearly needs some kind of introduction, otherwise you wouldn't know who he was.
A singer, brother Scott, eh?
Mr. Scott. Welcome everybody to the Living in Las Vegas podcast here on the Vegas Video Network.
I just need to do like a little box, the sign language.
These are called jazz hands.
No. This is sign language, American Sign Language for applause.
Oh, very good. Let's do it again. For our hard of hearing friends.
Right.
That's very nice. Chris, this is a completely shit show for our hard of hearing friends. Oh, sorry.
We don't do closed captioning?
No, we don't.
Oh.
Hey, by the way, congratulations, because you're listening to or watching the longest running podcast about Las Vegas that actually originates here in Vegas, which means that we're not only going to talk about what it's like to live here. Nope. We're going to be talking about adventures on the Strip and downtown, Fremont Street, other cool places here in the Valley. And by the way, if you're a visitor or a tourist, a fan, hell, you might even be thinking of moving to our fair city. Well, this show's like your own secret handshake to all things cool and groovy. Now, our free show is on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific time at vegasvideonetwork.com/live. Again, vegasvideonetwork.com/live. Just like Christina Aguilera will tell you, come on over. Come on over, baby. Be a part of the fun. Look, this is all fantastic stuff. We already know that, but here's where it really gets groovy. We do a show from 7 to 8-ish.
But heavy on the ish.
Ish, but heavy on the edge. I have a little bit of ish and some relish. Heavy on the relish, please. Comedy is not as hard as I thought. Okay, but here's what we do. At the beginning, pre-show, you get to watch the sausage being made. And then after 8 o'clock, it's VVN After Dark, VVN 2.0. It's the stuff that we wanted to talk about, but simply didn't want to have on the record.
Standard disclaimer, the post show, due to new tech, might only last about 9 minutes.
Right. Sometimes it doesn't go as long as we'd like. What are you going to do? That's part of the excitement. Will Scott shoot himself in the mouth, or will he live another day? Last show, by the way, it's 50-50. I had some good things happen, but the TriCaster decided to puke on me. We've got people all over in the live chat as well. This is really cool. Look at the live chat people right there. There's Gregor and Ted and Pops and Eric and Dawn and Ace of Bats and all kinds of groovy me things. Mike Q as well. All these guys are in the live chat. They are the loveliest bunch of coconuts, and you get to be a part of that group as well. So join us, and your whites will be whiter. And your brides will be brighter. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Whitney. Konnichiwa, buenas noches. How you doing, hot stuff? I am the founder of the Vegas Video Network, so on behalf of all those shows, thanks for checking us out. And behalf of this groovy little podcast, thanks for supporting us as well. And I would like to say hello and welcome again to the world's greatest person who just bought a house. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pimpin' Wayne, everybody.
Let's not count those chickens before they've hatched. I mean,
there he is.
They can still be some yolks inside.
What are you talking about?
Haven't bought it yet.
What?
Haven't bought it yet.
You paid for it.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. You put money down.
I did.
Okay.
But it's not paid for yet.
Freaking me out, man. I'm like, what kind of game are you playing here? This sounds very much like 2009. Yes, I'll shake your hand and go, I'll take that house, which
Correct.
we'll talk about a little bit later.
Would you not believe if I told you I make $750,000 a year?
I would.
Just from doing this show part-time?
I would not. Well, I believe that because you are very well paid. Hey, new in the live chat, we believe arguably the newest, greatest name, Spandex Panda. I was in a band called Spandex Panda, a heavy metal band drummer. Spandex Panda, his real name is?
I didn't know.
We're making it up.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, because he didn't play along.
It's going to be Steve.
Steve,
Yep.
right? He's from?
Steve's from Chicago.
Windy City, a little chilly.
It is. Hence the spandex.
Sure.
You want something to cut down on that exposure.
But I don't want people to know he's wearing a warm stuff because he's a manly man. He didn't want people to go, that guy's a little bit of a baby.
Correct.
But you wear spandex.
Dare you call him a panda?
A panda. And he's, what does he do for a living?
He chews bamboo.
He chews bamboo for a living and spits it out, and that's what's used to build the new houses in Chicago.
No, in all seriousness, his name is Eric, and he's from Las Vegas.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That story is not okay. Let's continue on with Chicago, Steve, who wears spandex, and he found us where?
He found us
Pornhub?
Well, I've had to take some of those videos down. Apparently there were some copyright concerns.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they're cutting. Did you not read the story where they're cutting down where people can put other people's faces?
Oh,
they
what's that called?
Circumpose it on the.
At Reddit, they had groups in Reddit that they took the whole groups down because of this. There's a name for that, and I forgot what it's called.
I forgot too. Anyways, it turned out that's what our videos were.
Oh.
It was just our heads
On other people, really well hung.
Yeah.
And I get that confusion all the time.
I know. It turns out I don't have a six-pack.
Right. Or they used to call me tripod. And now, not so much. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Unnecessary transition at all, streaming.
I'm not sure what you did there, but okay. Today's topic, buying a new home construction here in Las Vegas. Here's the backstory on this. Both of your hosts, me and him, have had the pleasure of buying a brand new construction. What does that mean? It means it's a home that has never been lived in. Prior to moving into that house, there was dirt. And you may say to yourself, well, that seems like an expensive proposition. And in most cities, it is. It's insanely expensive. But one of the great things about living in Las Vegas is it is expensive with a line on top of it, which means it's not expensive. The average selling house here, resale, is about $225,000. The average brand new house is about $321,000, which is pretty cheap for a brand new house. And our good friend Pimpin' Wayne is in the process of buying a new house. Allegedly, he hasn't paid for it yet, but he has bought one. So since his memory is significantly better than mine, Wayne is going to talk a little bit about what it's like to buy a new house here in Las Vegas. Wayne, take it away.
I have. So a little backstory first. Just a little correction on your numbers. So the median home value in Las Vegas now is up to $246,700.
Well, that's quite a bit higher.
And so when Hannah and I, my wife, decided that we were going to finally convert from renters, which we've done for the past 8 years since we moved to town now, 9 years, and we're actually going to go to buy a house. We actually looked, like most people, at what was currently out there, and what we
For resale,
yep. And what we realized was it's a nightmare because we are officially in what they call a housing shortage.
Right.
And what that means is there is less than I believe it's 2 months of what they would consider normal inventory.
Yes,
that's available.
6 months is normal, by the way.
Correct, and we're at 2 months.
2 months. That's right.
So what's happening is you've got two problems. Number one, a house goes up for sale, and instantly everybody is in on it.
Right,
and a
that
sales
also
price means nothing anymore because people are now having to bid above that to fight off the others.
Yeah, to some extent. It also depends, of course, where the pricing is. Like if you're in San Francisco and those were happening with $1 million homes. Now here, if you're in that median price, which means half or higher and half or lower, which is $250,000, you said, that's a pretty affordable house, and that's what's happening.
Yes.
Right. You come in at $250,000. I'm coming from California. I'm like $250,000.
I'll take three.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the money I made on the second house I had. Yeah. Right. So continue.
Right. So what's happening is this creates a second problem then. So when you have where the demand exceeds the supply, prices are going up.
Yep.
But prices are not prices that are going up offer-wise are not matching appraisals.
Yep.
And so I can say that I want, okay, I'll pay $275,000 for this house that listed at $260,000.
Yep.
But if it doesn't clear the appraisal, I'm not lucky enough to have that money in the bank.
That's right.
If I have to get a mortgage, I'm SOL. I can't get it.
That's right.
Doesn't qualify.
That's right.
So,
which happens.
absolutely.
And by the
especially out
way,
here.
and part of the downward pressure, or actually upward pressure, is that a lot of people, this especially happened after the recession, where all the housing prices dropped by arguably 50%. I mean, you were seeing $1 million houses that immediately became available for $500,000. These are mansions that this happened to. So what ends up happening is a bunch of investors, both from California and a lot of outside of the country investors, came in with cash.
Yep.
And it became a cash play, right?
Yep.
So, I'll offer you $200,000 on your house. And by the way, here's the cash right there. And if you're the seller, you're like, yeah. And if you're the bank who owns a house that's in foreclosure, that's happy news. That gets off my books. I'm ready to go. All right.
Yep, absolutely. So in order to kind of combat that, Hannah and I were lucky enough. We weren't really in a time crunch, so we had some time to play with. So we decided to start looking exclusively at new construction. Not because, we're hoity-toity. We have to, drive luxury vehicles and run the #1 streaming podcaster in all of Las Vegas. Because I don't
All
have
of
that
Nevada.
kind of juice. All of Nevada.
How dare you?
I don't have that kind of juice.
You
I should have read the banner. I'm sorry.
bastard.
But simply because, #1, we wouldn't be fighting with other people.
Yep.
We could, have something specific to us. It wasn't going to be an arms race.
Yep.
Secondly, you can kind of get things the way you want it.
Yep.
You don't have to go in there and settle in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And third, because I figured, okay, listen, if the builder's asking this, chances are that's probably what they can get appraised for, or else they wouldn't be asking that because they wouldn't be selling very many houses.
Let me just take a pause for a minute. So Pops is speaking up in the live chat, and he's brought up something we've heard about before, and that is, he said, hey, Wayne, are they holding vacant properties off the market in Vegas to artificially inflate the prices?
Oh, absolutely.
They are doing that, and it's called the shadow market. So the question is, why are they doing that? And it's not so much inflating prices; they're actually doing it to keep it off the books. So banks have to eat that shit if they claim it, but if they keep it off the books, then they don't have to eat it until it gets sold. So yeah, now the question is, what percentage of the houses out there are doing that? And the answer is, I don't know.
I don't know that you can get solid numbers on that.
Yeah, I think it's called a shadow inventory for a reason. People don't know, but if you talk to an experienced realtor, they'll probably have a sense of it. It's funny, of all the realtors that are here in Las Vegas right now, there's about 10 to 12,000. At one time there was 25,000. So that's cut in half.
Every single mom with
Everybody who was like had a car and a fucking magnet on the side. Yeah, Dave Smith, realtor. But here's what's really interesting about this. 80% of realtors out here in Las Vegas have never bought or sold one house. 80%. Crazy. And I learned that from a couple co-op members, multiple co-op members, saying, yeah, these people are just running around trying to get the first deal so they can say, I'm a real realtor. All right, you're on.
So once we decided we're going to go the new construction route to just avoid the aforementioned headaches, we did what most people do. We turned to the Google machine and we said, okay, let's see what's out there. So we Googled maybe new construction Las Vegas or new construction Henderson, since that's where we live. That's where we're kind of familiar with. So we were interested
called Hendertucky
in both areas. And so that will find you'll get a nice little map in your Google search results with the different builders and where they're at in the different areas. So we started looking at, okay, we would, we wouldn't mind living there, wouldn't mind living there. So we kind of narrowed it down from there.
And it was all Henderson based? You didn't want to do any more but Henderson?
We did look around a little bit because I work more in the Summerlin area.
Yeah, so I thought you might be doing Lone Mountain, that area.
Yep, exactly. So from those of you familiar with Vegas, from 215 from about, let's call it Sunset, around into Henderson is where we kind of narrowed our area.
Let's see if we can bring up a map and look at that a little bit.
Now, that was opposite from you because when you guys first moved to town, you were doing that upward growth. So up in the Aliante area, North Las Vegas, which is what that officially is.
Yep.
I'm not sure if they still have police and fire service out there. So I think that might have been cut as part of the budget.
Let's take a look at where you're. So here's a map. So do you see the mouse? Yeah. So you were, let me zoom in just a little bit here.
Right. Let's get just the state here.
Yeah, okay, here we go. There we go. So Hendertucky's down here, right? Yep. The strip is right over here.
Where the, that center waypoint is.
Yeah. And so you were looking in Henderson.
Henderson, yep.
And then over here's Summerlin, which is pretty well known.
Yeah, so from
Aliante,
about the bottom of the word Summerlin South. There,
right here, and all the way. So Lone Mountain is down here.
and riding that yellow freeway to the south.
All right, and this is the 215, and so the south of 215. Now, I used to live up in Aliante, which is right up here.
That gray area where there's not much.
Right, or that could be a park, you bastard. But yeah, up in this area, which is weird because you see North Las Vegas here, but actually North Las Vegas is this
all the way up.
weird, jiggity-jaggedy thing.
It's in between that triangle that the two freeways create.
Yeah. It's kind of wacky the way they do that. But okay, so basically, you were originally looking at this area here and then Hendertucky.
Over, yep.
Okay,
correct.
here we go.
And that's where you find most of the new construction because obviously the center of Vegas, everything inside of the 215 Beltway, you can't create more land. Barring an earthquake opening up and then you being able to go downward like the mole people.
Right, here's
you
the
have
215 Beltway
You
here.
have to move out kind of, I guess you'd call it into the burbs, but into the more open space. There's a lot of desert. You can see in that bottom left corner, let's say the 7 o'clock area, there's not much out there. You can see the streets start to die off. So that's where your empty spaces, that's where a lot of your new homes are being built, is in that less dense, still being developed area. Yep, down in there where it says Rhodes Ranch, right there.
Yep.
So we narrowed our searches to that area. And then we started looking at, okay, let's kind of narrow it down by what we think we can afford. So for example, if the builder called it the Estates at Serene, no, that got crossed off the list. That just sounds like...
But did you even look at the pricing or did you just go, Estates, no?
Yeah, no. No, because I knew. You just know.
That's the positioning.
Right. You just know.
Yeah, the place that we lived in, the first place, it had same builder, D.H. Horton or whatever.
D.R.
Horton. D.R. Horton. We had whatever ours was, and they had the same thing called the Estates at. They were bigger homes.
Yeah.
Much bigger.
So
we didn't buy that.
Right. Again, since there's still been some issues with the payroll department here with me getting my check clearing, I had to kind of temper things down a little bit. So we crossed those off. A lot of builders these days are building townhomes. We crossed those off. We would like to not live in glorified apartments where we can hear the neighbors fighting and the dog barking.
Right.
So, so we kind of looked at the general pricing just to see what was in our area. So I broke this down into 6 tips, and this starts in my first one.
Nice.
Look and decide what you want. Start with the Google machine, like I just said. Then drive out to these places, and here's what you're going to find. You're going to find a sales office, and it's going to be gated. Along with that sales office, are going to be anywhere from, let's call it 3 to 6 already built out models, fully furnished, decorated, all the landscaping, all the 9 yards.
Super fun to go into those too.
Correct.
I really like that.
And you're going to find, a row of those. And now what you have to do is they do make it so you have to go into the sales office.
Of course.
Because they fence it the way they fence it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Here's what I say. We went to probably 6 or 7 different places.
Right.
You can just walk right in, say hello, smile, walk right out, and start going into them.
Yep.
And that's what I advise you do. Don't stop and make too much small talk. Don't give them your name. In fact, if they ask you for your name, I would actually probably give them a fake name.
So
or just decline.
I'm going to bring up something that's super important here. Do you have a realtor?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
You know what I'm going to, do you know what I'm going to, well, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Sure.
Okay.
So allow yourself the freedom to just kind of walk through at your leisure. And honestly, you're not going to get bothered very much. Unlike a car lot or a furniture store, of the 7 places we visited, only 1 out of the 7 did a lady actually ask us what our name was. And that was simply to get us on their emailing list.
Yeah.
Don't give them your name at this phase yet. Just go through and kind of narrow down your search results even more on what you think you like.
Good.
And the reason I say that is step number 2, I think, what you started to allude to.
Okay.
Which is my step number 2, get a realtor and then get pricing. And here's why. I'll be honest with you. My mother was a real estate agent. I grew up. I know the terms. I know the lingo. I'm a smart guy. I'm able to read contracts. I do legalese type of stuff for my day job. I didn't feel I needed a realtor. But here's the thing. It doesn't cost you anything because it's built into the price. So whether you bring a realtor or whether you don't, they've already budgeted that money.
Yep.
So you can either find someone to represent you for free that they will pay for.
Right.
I mean, imagine if I went to sue you, Scott.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what?
Don't
let
do
me
it.
pay for your lawyer.
Don't sue me.
You can sue me, and I'll pay for your lawyer.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why wouldn't you take that deal?
Well-
So if in a business, even if it was if we weren't going to sue me, if me and you were going in a business, and you said, Wayne, here's the contract for the Vegas Video Co-op. Let me. I want you to take this home. I'm going to have a lawyer contact you. You can choose them.
Yep.
And I'll pay for it and go
Yep.
through it. Why would you not do that?
Right.
So, like anything else, you want your interests represented,
Well-
and it doesn't cost you anything.
Well, yeah. So it actually is a very smart thing to do. So when Wayne said, when you go in the first time, don't give your name, this is crucial.
Yep.
If you give them your name, then you cannot have a realtor represent you.
That's correct.
It's fucking a big deal.
Yep.
So we did the exact same thing. We found a realtor and she's like, you can go ahead and snoopy around, but don't give him your name because if you do, I'm
You've
out.
lost the opportunity.
I'm out. So the reason why we had a realtor the first time is because back when I was doing it, it was the Wild West. This was 2003, and people were selling houses like crazy. I actually had our realtor do, among other things, get in line to get our house because we weren't living in Las Vegas at the time. But also, these guys know stuff. Good realtors, like I said, not 80% of them. But some of these people just know things to ask that you don't know. So it's great to have somebody who's out fighting the fight, and Wayne's completely right. It doesn't cost you a penny, but now you've got an unbiased, a third party who's walking in there. By the way, they get to play bad guy.
Yep.
If you're going to be a shit about something, or if you just believe something that's not fair, you don't have to say that. You're Mr. and Mrs. Sweetheart. Have Billy, the realtor, get in there and fight the fight.
Absolutely. And so at that point, when you get your realtor, then you can talk turkey. And what I mean is, so I say get a realtor, step 2, get a realtor and get prices.
Yep.
Because what you see is not what you get in all cases. So there are some builders out there. One of them is named, they call it Lennar. It looks like Lennar, L-E-N-N-A-R.
A huge builder.
Their big thing is everything's included.
Yeah.
So when you walk into the model, furniture and decorating aside,
Right.
if it's got fancy cabinets and crown molding, then guess what? You get fancy cabinets and crown molding. There are some other builders where what the price on the document is, you say, oh, okay, what does this include? Well, you get some walls.
Yeah.
And
Insulation.
we put some in certain areas, you know. But
Let me just, for a minute, all the houses in Vegas have insulation. Brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce. Continue.
So, but there are some builders out there, and I won't name any names, where it's, oh, you'd like baseboards? That's extra.
Yeah.
You want a garage door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get a garage door, but would you like the pretty pattern on the garage door?
Right. Or would you like the garage door to open? Some don't give you an opener.
I've never. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Absolutely.
You can get a garage that the door won't open.
No. But it doesn't include the garage door opener.
Oh, you mean the automatic one?
You haven't moved in yet, and you got to start installing stuff if you want the garage door to open.
Or you could just manually get off your fat ass and open it yourself.
You could. I mean, who does that? It's 2018.
I've heard it's happened.
Yeah. So
actually, I've never seen that happen.
There's two things I recommend you do again. The first is ask, once you've registered and your realtor's there, ask the representative for a price sheet.
Yep.
And then you can see, oh, okay, the tile backsplash doesn't come in the kitchen because it says right here it costs me $2,100 more.
Yep.
And the second thing you do is you take that price list as you start to get serious, and you get the sales agent to walk in the house with yourself and your realtor, and you say, okay, point out what doesn't come with it, or point out what the extras are.
Yeah.
And just, boy, their arm might get tired depending on what builders you go to, because some things are going to be included, and some things like, oh, you don't get those cabinets, you get little cupboards. Or
Did you go with Leonard?
No. We went with Century.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Agree with everything. And you're going to get into the picking out of stuff in a minute here.
Yep.
Okay. Continue.
So once you get your price list, you see what's included, you see what's not included. I lost my train of thought. Where's I going with this? I had another helpful tip. I don't remember what it is. I'll come back to it. You can see, so you get your options price list.
Yeah, hold on for a second. So they're saying baseboards aren't included?
There's one builder
Yeah,
where
yeah.
baseboards are not included.
And same with, what is it called? The stuff on the side there, on the top?
Crown molding.
Crown molding.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see in the house, we're like, well, that's fucking nice. That's really, I'll take one of that. $1,000.
Yep.
It happens. I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience, the house that we bought in Aliante, I really liked that house a lot. We spent an additional, I'm going to say 40%.
Oh, it's easy to do.
On additional stuff.
Yep.
Hardwood floors, cabinets to the
Like
top.
anything else, like a car, you if you're watching TV and you see Tobin Dodge say that they're going
right.
to get you a Dodge Charger at $12,999, you say to yourself, that sounds a little too good to be true. It's the same thing in the housing market. When you get the sheet that's available, the informational sheet, and it says the Azulian model starts at $259,000.
Yeah.
That's if you don't want anything in it.
That's right. It's just the house.
Right. You want the sink to, there's different.
Well, it's not.
It's
right.
But you want to get your options list and have the person point out what there is, what there isn't.
That's right.
The other thing about price that I found out that they do, much like car dealers. So the price you see on the billboard, like, oh, come to Monterey Village, it starts in the mid 200s.
Right.
That doesn't include your upgrades. That doesn't include your land.
Right.
There are
so is that happening?
premiums.
Is that happening still?
There is.
Oh, so interesting.
So we decided on a house. We
lot
decided
premiums
on a
are
location.
interesting.
And so we said, so what lots are available? And the community has a golf course nearby. So if you want to overlook the 18th fairway, you can do that. And obviously that's going to be, there's a premium for that, which you'd expect, right?
Sure.
Because you get to see the lush 18th fairway.
Yep.
If you just want the lot that's in the corner against the wall that's nowhere near the golf course, it has a lot premium as well. Every lot in the development has a lot premium, strictly so that they can keep the advertising numbers lower, because the house starts at $257.
What does that sound like, Ted?
But the lot premium
Sounds like resort fees and paid parking is what it says.
So we literally asked, are there any lots without a premium? And the answer was no.
Oh, interesting.
What
was the lowest lot premium?
$10,000.
And this is on a. Are you comfortable about talking about how much the house was?
Sure. The base price of the house was $277,900.
Okay.
The lot premium was another $10,000. And we got lucky in the area with the builder. We didn't go with Lanier, so everything wasn't included, but with Century, a lot was included.
Right.
So the only thing we upgraded was the master bathroom to make it a little bit larger and fancier.
Okay, continue.
So everything has a lot premium.
Yep.
And that's with our specific builder. You want to check with whichever one you're looking at, because it could be the same way.
And Bill wants to know how big the house is square footage wise.
2,001 square feet.
What's interesting about that question is Americans speak in square footage. It's a 4.3, 2,000 square feet. In the UK, the size isn't in their head at all. So like Neil and we've had this talk many times. He's like, we don't, and part of it's because the houses are a bit smaller there. But they're just like, we just want to know, is it 4 bedrooms, 3 bath? The 2,000 square feet, we don't get it. But we're always thinking, oh yeah, it's 2,500 square feet. That doesn't include the casita, which is, I get it. All right.
So my next step 3, once you've kind of narrowed it down, now you know what you're willing to pay for and what you don't like, you start making concessions real quick. Like, oh, I like that staircase railing, but I don't really need mahogany. I guess I could settle with.
So did you end up going to the design center?
You do, but let me get that comes a little bit later in the process.
I'm sorry.
Step 3, get your mortgage options available at this point. Now that you know approximately how much you're going to pay, the thing here, you can certainly go on Rocket Mortgage or Quicken Loans. You can bring your own financing.
Yeah.
However,
you didn't do that.
I did not do that because specific builders have a preferred lender, which I'm sure is industry term for biggest kickback.
Yeah.
And so we actually, if we used the lender of the builder, which the builder owned, come to find out when you do a little internet digging,
right?
They actually give you a $7,500 closing cost credit, just right off the bottom line.
I remember that. And by the way,
still comparison shop it.
Do it.
because they could have jacked it up $7,000.
Well, and
but, I still comparison shop.
And by the way,
but it's still one.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So they're going to sell that loan within 6 months.
Absolutely.
And you don't care.
Right.
I don't give a shit. My loan has been sold in all the houses that I've owned probably 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally sold again. I have a new place. I have to change my auto pay, whatever. I don't give a shit. Doesn't affect me. I got the good deal. So it's the same thing with car buying. When I buy a car, I don't pre-qualify. I got great credit. I don't worry about that shit. I always go to them and go, hey, what do you got? And they're like, well, you're shit, 0%. How does 0% for 5 years sound? Sounds like sold. I'll take it. Good.
Sure. So check that out. Price it around as I compare it, as I did. Don't worry too much about the credit score hit because what I found out is that most your credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, when they see whether it's car shopping or home shopping, multiple inquiries around the same time frame actually get grouped together. So whether you apply at one place or you apply at 4 places, they're all going to get grouped together, and it's going to have a negligible impact.
Interesting question or a comment on the live chat. So Pops is in here bragging about his house. He goes, 270 for 2,000 square feet. Laugh out loud. I've got 2,300 square feet on a huge wedge-shaped lot, cul-de-sac in a great neighborhood, paid $146. Yeah, but you're in fucking Florida.
Right.
And there are alligators and humidity
Sinkholes.
and sinkholes.
I hope that house doesn't fall into the ground.
And humidity. And did I mention humidity? So my plan when I retired was I wanted a Scott dock. I wanted a place where I could waddle outside and get in a boat and go on the water. And you know what a great place for that is? Florida. Florida has probably more water side area than because they have a bunch of rivers and tributaries. So I'm like, yeah, we're going there. Guess what? The humidity there is oppressive. It's like being in a sauna. So nope.
Right.
So,
remember what was it, 6 months ago, those houses that just fell into the ground?
There's all kinds of bad shit happening in Florida.
Because the water table's rising, the limestone is porous.
Yeah, no, it's...
Boggles the house.
Yeah.
Florida's just not for me. If you like it, fantastic.
Do it.
I hope you live there for another 80 years. It's just not, it's not my place. It's not Scott's place.
Hey, maybe you want to go to I bet you Florida has Outback. Same steak level. So I could be wrong. If you want Outback steak, Florida, you should go. If you actually want a steak that's edible, maybe California or maybe Las Vegas. Continue.
Yeah. So once you've got that down, you're ready to go. You've made your decision. This is where now, step number 4, sign and wait. So you'll come in. You'll say, okay, this is what I want. They're going to ask you some basic option questions. Do you know that you're going to want the loft or the 4th bedroom option?
Right.
Do you want the 2-car garage or the 3-car garage option?
Yep.
Do you want it to look Victorian on the front or Italian on the front?
Right.
And so they'll get those basic kinds of questions from you. They'll fill out kind of like at the car lot, like a purchase order.
And there's a term for the different kinds of exteriors.
It is elevations.
Elevations. There you go. Very good.
Correct.
Very good.
So they'll kind of work it out. They'll tell you what your price is with the lot premium and the options and the price of the house and the elevation that you choose. Then you sign that you're going to buy it. Now, I don't know about all builders because, again, we just worked with one.
Right.
But to sign the papers, they wanted and actually start construction on the lot in the house.
You have to put
they
earnest.
wanted $5,000 down.
Which is the earnest payment.
Earnest money deposit of $5,000, and then 25% of anything that they considered structural upgrades. So we changed the floor plan in the master bathroom. That was a structural upgrade.
Right.
If you wanted a different, basically anything attached. If you wanted the back patio, if you wanted the 4th bedroom instead of the loft, what have you, they would call that a structural upgrade. They wanted 25% of that. You get credit for that down the road, but this is what they want to start getting some shovels in the ground and some builder bobs to get out there with some hammers and some nails.
Builder bobs. About
a week to a month, it was a week for us after you sign, and of course after your check clears probably, that they wait for, is then they call you up and they make this all big and exciting. And they say,
can I show a picture of your house?
Sure, go ahead. Do you have it up?
Keep going. I get it.
I guess because I gave you enough detail. There it is. You pulled it off of, So that's in the construction phase.
Yeah.
They just last week, not to get ahead of ourselves, so it's stuccoed. They just put the exterior stucco after doing the exterior insulation and wraps, and they did the drywall on the inside. So that's the progress where it's at. Yeah, some nice shots there.
Keep talking.
So about a week to a month after you sign and your check clears, they're going to call you up and they're going to say, yes, is this Mr. Krell? Mr. Krell, this is Valerie at Interior Studios and Designs. And congratulations on the purchase of your new home.
Thank you.
We'd like to schedule an appointment for you to come out and choose all your different options. That was earlier in the process, that picture there.
Yep.
So when it was just framing. I'll walk through the timeline briefly at the end. So you set up an appointment to go to the design studio.
There we go. This is what basically pillaged me.
Correct. So whereas you've already bought the car, it's very similar. You've bought the car, you've shook hands with the salesman. What do you do next? You move into the financing office.
Yeah.
And in there, they're trying to sell you the extended warranty, the interior protectant package,
That's right.
the prepaid maintenance.
Perfect analogy.
The deal has only just begun at this point.
You've only begun to suffer.
After you've already shaken hands and signed, but now the deal truly begins.
Right.
Because what they'll do is they'll say to you, okay, let's start with carpet. We have.
Did you want carpet?
This is what comes with it, and in some cases they'll show you either nice carpet or they'll show you the indoor-outdoor fake grass carpet that you can get.
Wait,
at
can I
Home Depot.
practice golf on this? Yes, it's indoor, outdoor. It's not. We call it turf.
Correct. And then they'll say, so you can go with this, and you say, and then they go, and here's the pad that we put underneath it.
That's right.
This is what's included.
That's
okay?
right.
Or
That's right.
you could get this
Nice.
pad.
Here, let me
Feel
put
how
it on the
plush
ground
it
and
is.
touch it.
Yeah.
Oh, holy
Squeeze
shit.
that.
That's fucking
or
nice.
you could have any, you might get 6 color choices.
Yeah.
Or we can go over here to the Pantone wall and you can choose any combination you like. Ultraviolet was the Pantone color of the year this year.
That's right. Purple.
We just got it in.
Ish.
So you have to kind of, and that's with everything. Here's the tile that comes with it.
Yep.
Or you could upgrade to Italian marble that we just chiseled, from Tuscany.
All right, so I'm going to pause this for a second. So these guys in the live chat are like, hey, you got screwed? Did you get kissed while you're getting screwed? And Mike's like, are they at least giving you a reach round? Put the fucking brakes on that. That's not how this works. Mm-hmm. What he's talking about is how it works. And it actually is reasonable if you're fucking paying attention.
Yes.
So look, if you go in there, and this is actually annoying me a little bit. You walk into a place and go, okay, I'm looking at this house, not the Lennar house that includes everything. And it says quite clearly, yeah, this backsplash is an additional $100 to $1,000. Did you want a tub with the little feet on it? It's $2,000. So be an adult and write it the fuck down. Otherwise, you can do by the way, this happened in my place in Aliante. So when I was buying there, this was during the 2003, 2004. So there was a lot of investors. So you know what investors did? They went out and bought all the houses with nothing added. So it said the list price is $250,000. Guess what it was? It was $250,000. And you got what was on there. So is it the best carpet with the best padding? No. But did they give a shit? No. They wanted to use it as a rental tool. Did you want the granite thing? No. I want tile because it's cheap. So this is, by the way, if you've bought any new house, I don't care if it's Las Vegas or Poughkeepsie, this is how you buy new homes. This is not new. And you just decide whether you want the new stuff or not. Like I said, Wayne went in there and was like, I think we're pretty much okay. Well, Melissa went in there and said, fuck, I want this and this and this and this.
So the designer, first we started with carpet, then we moved into carpet padding, then we moved into tile, then we moved into granite. And at that point, after the third time of me saying, so what comes with it?
Right.
We'll choose that.
Yeah.
Then she got the hint really quick. Like
she knocked that shit out.
I'm not making my quote on this guy.
He's not the guy.
So then it turned into, so rather than let's walk to the Pantone wall and you could have any of these color combinations. It was, this is what comes with it. Would you like to see other options? No, I think we're good with that. Hon,
Yeah.
you good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to cabinets. This is what comes with it. Would you like to see other options? No, I think that looks nice, hon.
Right.
Yeah, that looks nice. Let's go
I
with
mean,
that.
what's the color? I'll have cherry.
We were in and out of the design studio in about 55 minutes.
I was there for, I think I just left a week ago, and that was a house that I bought 10 years ago. We were there, and by the way, I was okay with it because you have to understand the pricing difference. So the house that I bought, the first house I bought in Las Vegas, was 60% larger and 40% of the cost all in.
Yeah.
Including
Sure.
the hardwood floors and the big this and the I forget what they called that other room. To me, it was, you guys are giving away this shit compared to where I was in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
Now, if I'm Pops in Florida, that's not the same thing.
Right.
Pops in Florida who wants to come to Las Vegas because let's say he's tired of the humidity and he actually wants to have a decent steak, might say, look, I'm happy with what's going on here. I don't need all that shit. Just give me the baseline. Or, for example, if you're a builder Bob, of which I am not a builder Bob,
Me neither, really.
then you could go in there and go, you know what, I'll take the base. Let me get in here and I'll add the baseboard or whatever's important, make the wife happy, and that's fantastic. And we did the same thing to some extent. We added some touches to our first place that had nothing to do with the property.
Yep. We walked out of there and I said to Hannah, I said, like the carpet, for example, is the carpet probably the cheapest grade of carpet they can get? And is the pad about the size of this sheet of paper? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's get a year or two out of the carpet. We'll rip it up. We'll go to Lumber Liquidators and put in some
There you
laminate
go.
hardwood.
Yeah. There you go.
So you really have to kind of temper, and especially because we were getting really close to like our maximum, what we were comfortable with payment-wise.
Well, and that's the other thing too. You have to decide what your budget is, and you got to stick to your budget. And so, what I think is smart, you said, the budget is the budget is the budget.
Yep, absolutely.
Because those design centers are sexy as hell.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
It's
They have every Pantone color tile.
They are
carpet
not
on the
screwing
wall.
around in there. I mean, you can go in there and see stuff, and and oftentimes it's interesting. The woman, the wife, may be in charge of that area. Was the case for me, and I may have had a couple points that I was able to win. Probably not very many though, because happy wife, happy life, that kind of shit. And I wanted it to be a nice place too, but those places simply invite you to recognize, oh, look at the potential. So it is an interesting psychological test to be in those properties or be in those places and go, no. So I commend you
So
for
we
playing.
walked 55 minutes. We walked out having not spent another dime.
That's impressive.
So because even though my first question was what comes with it, even in those limited options, you had options.
Yeah.
The carpet was a cheap
Yes.
grade. There were 6 colors of carpet.
Right.
The tile, we didn't upgrade. There were still 3 different styles of tile.
Right.
It wasn't like this is it. Like you got no other choice. Take it or leave it. Take it or upgrade.
And that's important as well. That it's not like they're just saying if you don't upgrade, you're a dick.
Right.
They're saying there are options. We just want to give you other options as well.
Correct.
Right. So good.
Yep.
Good call.
So you do that, and then at this point, you just get to wait. And step 5 is monitor. As Scott showed earlier, we took pictures. We went probably every 2 weeks, and then as it started to get more progressing, we started going every week. The order of progression, first you're going to see them dig out your foundation. You're going to see concrete being poured for your foundation, the slab. You're going to see framing. After framing will be interior, the plumbing, the wiring. Then will be the roof. After that is going to be drywall and stucco, as you just saw, which is where we're at now. Windows get thrown in there somewhere in the middle. Then there'll be paint, there'll be carpet, there'll be tile, there'll be granite, there'll be cupboards, and all that.
And the initial shit happens quick.
It does. Then there was a lull. Now we did it obviously over the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday. We signed in late October, so I figured there'd be some delays. The Builder Bobs, they celebrate Christmas too, so they probably want to be with their family instead of hammering nails and the 3rd tract home that day.
Fair enough.
So, but monitor it, take some pictures, especially because You want to see the progress, but also construction guys are not really neat and tidy.
This is a very important thing.
If you see something that you don't like, maybe it's a bad piece of lumber, maybe that they broke something, you notice that something is chipped or something doesn't seem right. Maybe it looks crooked because it was the guy's fourth piece of house that he was putting the framing in for that day. Take pictures of it, send it to your realtor who can play bad guy, send it to the sales agent and the builder's rep and say, you know what, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah, if you allow me to tell you just a real life story here, while the taking pictures idea is brilliant. So we talked about this on a show a long time ago. So on our first house, we built a pool. And I won't talk about the pool builder, but so I was fascinated by the pool building experience. Like I said, I'm not a builder, Bob. I really respect anybody who can build shit. So they're, digging holes and they hit. Now we didn't live here at the time they were building our house. So I had remote cameras in my house shooting these guys digging the pool. So I had this live stream from my backyard and they were trying to dig this hole and it hit caliche, which is basically God's cement, and it was shaking the whole house. I'm like, well, that seems to be problematic. So they eventually brought in a big thing and they dug. Okay, so I took these pictures, periodically it was going on. I did it because it was just fascinating to me. It actually saved me a shitload of money and stress. So after the pool was built, I had a 200-gallon-a-day leak underneath my deck, which is not a feature. So we were literally seeing the water being sucked out of our house. So they drained it and filled it and drained it and filled it. And they thought they fixed it and they couldn't fix it. And they're like, well, we don't know. There was a crack happened. Oh, it must be the crack. All right, fix the crack. No. Come to find out, I took a picture by accident of the reason why it leaked like this. There's those cans that, you see the filter in. Well, there were these 3 pipes that all should have been tapped off. They forgot to tap a pipe. So there was literally a 2-inch pipe just sucking water out of our pool. When they said we fixed it, they weren't going to cover it, because I basically said to them, look, here's the deal. You put a 200-gallon-a-day leak underneath my deck for 20 days. That seems like a lot of water. I'm concerned with that. I need you to cover in case this collapses or hurts my house. No, we're not going to do that. Well, maybe you oughta. A, here's a picture of you not doing the job, and B, I'll talk about it forever. Okay, we'll cover it. And got in writing. So the idea of shooting all that shit you don't even know. I mean, do you know anything about electronics or electricity?
You know what I did?
But you shot it all.
Every electrical outlet before the drywall people came in, I took a picture. Because,
That's right.
Again, the drywall guy, he's on his 12th hour. He's 3 Modelo's in, of which we found cans
Really?
on the construction site.
That's funny.
So all it takes is him to just put up the piece of drywall. You've just lost 2 or 3 outlets.
That's right, man.
So we took pictures of all that. So you got time, go out there. You'll enjoy it. You'll get excited. You're invested in the process. Finally, last step 6, which is what we're approaching right now, which is walk and dock.
Yeah.
And what that means is they will give you finally. They called me up. They said, Mr. Crowell, wanted to let you know that your house is scheduled to be completed on March 29th.
Boom.
We'd like to schedule the walkthrough. This will take approximately 2 hours. At this point, they're going to walk you through the house. You'll inspect it, go over it, check the doors, and make sure things open and turn on and those sorts of things. And you probably have experience with that, so you can talk about that.
And you'll find stuff that's not right, and they'll fix it.
Yep, absolutely. And then at that point, they notate it and they fix it. Depending on how long it takes. And then you go and you do your closing, you give them a ton of money.
That's right.
And you get some keys.
It's an exciting time. Well, congratulations to Wayne for making this happen. Now, what was fascinating about Wayne, we're already 50 minutes into this. That's not the plan. But what I thought was kind of cute about Wayne is, I don't know if you know about Wayne, but Wayne has made fun of me for years about being in the 1%. Now, the first house that I lived in was I would argue, a modest home. Yes, it had a gate. Mm-hmm. But basically every other property here in Las Vegas has a gate.
No, I'd say about
a lot of gates.
50%.
Every other property is 50%.
Okay.
By the way,
right.
Thank you, Mr. Math. Right, today's math challenge. If every other house had
Well, it depends. If there's only 3 houses on the street, then it might be only 33%.
no, if it's in the street and they're behind the gate, then 100% of those fucking houses. Okay, anyways, modest. The house that I live in right now, it's a single gate. Hey, Wayne, tell us a little bit about your gated community. Watch Wayne start to go, oh shit, I've been giving Scott crap for years and I am worse.
There were certain things that we liked. Obviously, a gate was one of them. The area in which we built, as I mentioned,
a gate.
We were fortunate enough.
I'm sorry.
That this area for the HOA fee that we pay, which is higher than probably your HOA fee.
I would fucking hope so. But would you be willing to share what your HOA fee is?
Sure, absolutely. So the HOA fee, and you want to ask that as well as part of getting your prices.
Yeah, for sure.
Because some
like at a condo, $500.
I didn't mention this, but some new developments will charge you what's called SIDS and LIDs.
The other place I had that.
District and localized improvement district.
Yeah.
So get those when you get your realtor. Get those fees because again, the house might start at $257, but you're going to be at $320 before you.
The Aliante property had that.
So this does not have that because it's more established.
Yeah.
So the HOA fee, the thing we liked about this community, for those of you that, if anyone's familiar with Rhodes Ranch, it was started by the same person, Jim Rhodes, built Rhodes Ranch and built our community over in Henderson.
I met his daughter on a plane flying from San Jose to here.
So he started both of them.
Very nice gal.
Yeah. So there's a lot of amenities. So our HOA fee includes the gate at the front, which is monitored 24/7 by security personnel.
Whoa, wait! I'm sorry. Let's just not jump over that. You have a human protecting your house, you elitist son of a bitch. You. Yeah. Just say yes. Yeah.
I'm keeping people employed. I'm for American jobs, and getting the blue collar middle class person, a livable wage and income.
Hey, if Scott had the same thing, what would you have said to Scott?
As part of that, it includes that.
Keep going.
And it also includes there's a very nice recreation center, the gym, pool, basketball courts, racquetball courts, sauna. All sorts of stuff that's really nice. So
you've got a human blocking the first gate, and then do I understand that there's a second gate?
No, just one.
Oh, just one gate.
Just the front. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you just have the human blocking the first gate.
That's correct.
Plus
just screening people, collecting license plate numbers, basic security features. The clubhouse, yep.
Pool.
Other amenities. It's a 250,000 square foot, something like $3 million recreation center.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your buddy Scott doesn't have any of those things. Just so you know. Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna go ahead and turn the way that we talk about.
So you wanted to ask. So my HOA fee. Oh yeah. It varies. So our friends, just in comparison, first off, my HOA fee is $175 a month.
Okay.
And you know what? Is that on the high side? Absolutely.
Actually,
but
it's not.
Between keeping American jobs,
because that's your motivation,
which I'm a supporter of.
All right, that's fantastic.
And recreation.
Let's hurry this up because I have to go throw up pretty soon.
The recreation.
I gotta get the hat.
But comparatively, across the street from IKEA here in town, same builder, and it's just one of those gates where certain people have, where you just punch in a number and every delivery person in town.
Certain people have.
And every delivery person in town can probably get in.
That's what I have.
So they just have the punch in a number gate. They have a postage stamp size pool that's outside.
Yeah.
That who knows how many neighborhood kids have peed in. Theirs is $69 a month just for that.
I dig your elitist move. We've missed you. Welcome aboard. So congratulations to Wayne for purchasing his first. By the way, here's an exciting thing for those of you who are watching, especially you in the live chat. Wayne's going to have an open house, a housewarming party, and everybody in the live chat's invited. Thanks to Wayne for doing that. Yep. And in celebration,
as long as you can get through the gate. They will be taking names and license plate numbers.
We got to roll through. Have a drink, baby. All right, it's time for Have a Drink on Me. It's part of the show where I show you a picture of a bar or a speakeasy or a club, not a club, a lounge, and you guess the name of the bar, you send an email, and then you can win fantastic prizes. Like what? Well, first of all, how many chances are there to win? There's a number of chances. A, you can send in a correct answer. That's one opportunity. We'll put your name in a hat. You can submit an entry and be in the live chat at the same time. You've doubled your entries. You could send a video entry as 3. You could send the very first correct answer. You get another one. Or you can do an intro like we had with Ace of Best today. Now, what can they win? Wayne, do you want to take that?
Absolutely, but due to the fact that we're short on time, this will be the brevity.
Super, don't screw around on this.
Will be increased.
Ready? Go.
First off, you have your choice of 3 fantastic collections. Get Jazzathon, Christmas Acoustic 2. Put it in your CD, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Hey, you want a hat instead? Get yourself a hat. Really, it's a visor. It lops the top off, get some wind through there, and it'll help your hair follicles. Finally, you can have a drink with Scott. Would you like some champagne? Sure,
My
have
birthday.
some champagne. You want a beer? Just anything. Come on, keep it to 1. Let's not get greedy here.
Right.
You're gonna ruin it for everybody else.
Don't be abusive. Okay, thank you very much. All right. Now, there's a chance that you could be a part of the galaxy of gods. What does that mean? You take one of these hats, you take a picture of it like so, and then you become a galaxy of the gods. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, we're not going to do the whole thing, but there's a whole bunch of pictures of people who become a galaxy of gods. You know what? All of their income has gone up 20% because they're in the galaxy of gods. Congratulations. Okay, let's look at last week's Have a Drink on Me. La 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 la. Where are you? Have a drink on me. You are right here. There it is. Oh, by the way, you're going to send your email to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. Again, haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. So that was last week's Have a Drink on Me. The clues were BLT, Steak Bar at Bally's, BLT, Steak Bar at Bally's, and BLT, Steak Bar at Bally's. Well done, everybody. It was 18 out of 18. It was a fantastic 100% people got this one right. I'm very proud of my live chatters and everybody else. You ready?
No.
Nope. Of course you're not, because I didn't give you the tools to do your job. All right, here we go. I'm flying to San Diego tomorrow. I'm not proud of it. Not proud of it.
Just
not
because.
happy. It's my birthday
Because
tomorrow.
you waited till the last minute.
Going to San Diego, but not for good reasons. Okay, here we go. The first one is...
You going to the beach at least? You're going to put your toes in the
No, I'm
ocean?
going to be going and taking care of business and getting the hell out of there. I'm not happy about it. Eric. This is Eric, Ace of Bats, Eric. So 1 for the correct answer, 1 for being in the live chat. This is fantastic. 1 for providing the video entry, and 1 for being first. I believe this is our first quad. Our first single quad. Way to go, Eric. I'm just going to bask in that for a moment because that's fantastic. Moving on. David Trickle. And Justin Harrell, who's from...
Charleston?
No, it's not. Moving forward, we've got Andy in New Hampshire. We've got Mike, Wayne, which sounds like a serial killer. Sorry. AJ, holla! And we've got Bill.
Bill, what more do you need to say?
Bill. We got Mike Beatty. We've got NW Mike. We've got Steve I, the wise guy. Let's see if Steve is doing no. We've got Paul Condor, 940 or 957. Okay, keep going. We've got Eric Ace of Bats again. Wait, is that the wrong Eric? Oh, he didn't. I think I fucked that up. Did you make a couple for? Well, we'll give him a couple of the extra ones. That was the other Eric. It doesn't matter. Johnny Bravo, who's also known as Greg Tapper. 1 for the correct answer. Greg, 1 for the live chat. Oh, actually, I read this backwards. Okay, no problem. Jimmy Gallagher. Jimmy Chugees. There he is. 1 for the correct answer. Jimmy gets in there for 1 for the live chat. Bob Thomas. 1 for the correct answer. Bob's in the live chat. Way to go, Bobby. Gary Romberg. Mr. Testy. 1 for the correct answer. Mr. Testy, 1 for being in the live chat. We've got Barb. Shotness, is it Barb in there? 1 for the correct answer. And we've got Binky. All right, there it is. Boom.
Boom.
Let's go.
Just like that.
Let's get this shit done.
Someone's got San
I
Diego to get to.
got an
tomorrow.
early morning tomorrow, boy.
What time's the flight take off?
Let's not talk about that out loud because it makes me sad. I don't think it's like a 7 o'clock flight or some shit.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice. You get to be at the airport around 6.
6. Which you think I get up at like the crack of yesterday? That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
You might want to consider grabbing yourself a sleeping bag and just
What I want to consider is to fucking pay attention to documents, like for instance,
heading
your
to
passport.
the airport. Hey, the winner is. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
It is your handwriting. There you go.
It's David Trickle. I think it's the first time winner. Way to go, David! All right, attaboy. Okay, let's look at this week's Have a Drink on Me. There it is. This is a good one. Hit number 1. Given how the alcoholic beverage included in the bar's name is spelled with an E, it appears to be of Scottish descent. Given how the alcoholic beverage included in the bar's name is spelled with an E, it appears to be of Scottish descent. Hit number 2. The type of distilled alcohol beverage is made of fermented grain mash. The type of alcoholic beverage for this particular bar name is made of fermented grain mash. And number 3, the second name of this bar has to do with the passing of one's tongue over a surface. The second name of this bar has to do with the passing of one's tongue over the name of a surface. If you know the answer, you're going to send it to Have a Drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com. Again, Have a Drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Instead of updating your passport, do you spend all the time on those clues?
Let's have us not talk about out loud how about pissed off I am that on my birthday, tomorrow's my birthday, everybody, I'm going to fucking San Diego because I'm not nearly as smart as I like to be. All right. Hey, you can reach out to us in a bunch of different ways, which would be great. All right, so that's it. It'd be fantastic if you reached out to us just to tell me, maybe you actually should check your passport date before you go to somewhere outside of America. Fantastic. I'm Scott. That's Wayne. We're going to see you guys next week. If all goes well. Nope.
No.
2 weeks from now.
1st and 3rd.
Yeah, fair enough. If all goes well.
Or if you want to see the paid show, that will be at Cheetah's on Saturday night.
Or Sapphires.
Yeah.
Or a variety of different places. Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, or 2 weeks. God damn it. I gotta be on a plane. I'm super unhappy. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Boop, boop.